Hey, good morning, Finicky family. This video today is for my pet sitting and cat sitting colleagues. Now, some of you, if you're watching this and you're not a professional pet sitter, that's okay. You might find the information helpful. So today, the topics for today, the areas I want to cover are the stress that some of our cats can go through when our clients travel, and things to think about when you're doing one of those cat sits. We're going to look at a little bit at the neurobiology. Yes, I have notes. We're going to look at some of the neurobiology of the brain and what's going on. We're going to talk about a little bit about cat separation anxiety and what it might look like, and what you can do to help, and what you can do to harm. Real important, because that's what the main focus is today. We also want to look at the different stress levels that are going on, and when you need to determine to back off, and when, of all things that you might be shocked to hear me say, stop looking for the cat. And yes, there are times when it is far more beneficial to stop looking for the cat than it is to continue to stress them out. And I'll give you some options if that ends up being the case. And as usual, Sooty is joining me on camera because he hears me talking and he thinks it's all about him. So let's get to it. Okay, so the first thing I want to cover, I recently took a course on toxic stress and the neurobiology that goes along with that toxic stress. And I'm going to look at it and see if I can apply it, some of what I learned, to our furry friends here. There are 3 areas of the brain that actually responds to toxic stress, or any stress really. And it all depends on, it's all going to depend, I think, on the individual cat and their past experiences. So when we get stressed out, even in the human, stress affects our amygdala. It's a part of the brain. I'm just going to leave it there. It's a part of the brain. That's a whole other, some of this is going to be a whole other course. So it affects the amygdala, and the amygdala sends information then to the hippocampus or midbrain to cause you to react to that stress. And, you know, it might be, oh my God, I have an interview, or it might be, oh my God, I saw a squirrel. And it'll send that information to the amygdala, and then the amygdala will send it to the midbrain. And then the midbrain sends it to the prefrontal cortex. And it is the prefrontal cortex that decides how you're going to react and to what level you are going to react. Same thing is true for the cat. He's knitting right into my jeans. It hurts. So you're going, so you look at it from the standpoint of the prefrontal cortex is what is going to tell you, panic, run away, or stay and fight, or I'm hunting, or even happiness can be a stressful event, but your prefrontal cortex tells you how to react. So when we look at toxic stress, what is happening is your body's going through all of that, but with toxic stress, you tend to hit it, that's stressful. And you hit the same stressor over and over and over, and the prefrontal cortex, after a number of times, it tells you react this way, but you don't get the result you want. your prefrontal, it happens again and you react that way. And you don't get what you want. Will you come over here? You're really being a stinker today. So if you have toxic stress, you're hitting that stress level multiple times, and then finally the prefrontal cortex basically doesn't know what to do, and you actually have changed the physiology of the brain. It's not just a mental state, but you actually change the physiology of the brain. So when we're dealing with the cat who is hitting very high stress levels over and over and over and over and over, finally they're going to go the other way. The they're all of a sudden every little thing that remotely looks like that stressor becomes that reaction. Ouch. So you're going to want to look at, as we go through today's talk, is kind of think about that. What are we doing here? And are we pushing the cat during a cat sit too far? So when we talk about the anxieties that cats can experience when their owners leave, one of the big ones that is pretty common is the separation anxiety response. In cats, that can look like a number of different things, just like it can in dogs. I mean, we look at dogs and we know, oh, separation anxiety, he tore apart the house. With cats, well, they generally don't tear apart the house, but there may be other signs and indications that the cat is experiencing separation anxiety. One of those things that you may find is as you approach the door, you can hear the cat on the other side of the door, meowing and meowing and meowing at the door, looking for you, or looking for anybody to come through the door and save me. I'm here all alone. The other thing that could happen is that you walk in and you cannot find the cat anywhere. And that, the cat is very fearful. So that could be another reaction that you could see with a cat with separation anxiety. So a good example of some of this is I have a client who I had been doing cat sitting with her for about a year and a half, and the cat always was a bit on the fearful side. And, I would go in, peek under the bed, just like we all do as pet sitters. So there you are, take a picture, and then to go do food, water, litter box, and then just sit down and wait for the cat to come out on his own. And he normally did. And he would take treats, he might chase the laser, and everything was good. That was a typical visit for him. I didn't see the cat for about 3 months, and then I went back to do a cat sit, just like she, rebooked, and I go in, and the cat is suddenly stalking me, like I don't belong there. So some sort of a trigger event happened in between visits, and I was puzzled by it, and I kept an eye on him. And as I went to go to leave, he actually attacked as I was going out the door. And I thought, oh, how peculiar. He normally doesn't do that. The next day, he was a once-a-day visit, which was great. The next day I went in, and pretty much the same thing happened. And I reported this to the owner to find out what was going on. And she had no idea. I asked about, any changes in the household, all of the typical questions, because I was concerned, that this little guy was having issues. So she agreed to go ahead with me to go ahead and set up a cat camera, because I wanted to know, is he stressed out just being in the apartment? Which when they had first moved in, he was indeed stressed out. Every noise in the hallway, he ran and hid. Everything, so there, there was some anxiety there to begin with. Then there was her traveling, and he was alone in the apartment. Separation anxiety, pretty typical. And you coupled that with the pre-existing anxiety of always hiding when he heard somebody walking up and down the hallway. Well, lo and behold, she set up a couple kitty cameras at my suggestion, and here we came to find out that her cleaning people that were coming in once a week didn't like the cat or were afraid of the cat, and they were actually shuttling him into a closet, cleaning the apartment, and then when they went to leave, they would let him out of the closet. So we had this whole build up of mommy leaves, strangers come, I get shoved in a closet, all this noise, vacuum cleaners and all these scary things are running. And then they open the door, and if I run out at them, they'll leave. He had gone through all 5 levels of fear and anxiety to the point that he had learned his little amygdala to the midbrain, to the prefrontal cortex, had retrained him to actually attack. So that's just one example of what can happen if we don't address that fear and anxiety properly. So we go through those stress levels of, most kitties will go, when we visit, will go up to about a stress level 3. And that's okay. We can usually, little treats, a little play, their favorite things. We might put in a feel away plug-in diffuser for them. We might play some relaxing cat music for them, and they'll calm down, and we start to normalize the sounds and things going on in the house as a cat sitter, and they'll calm down and realize, okay, this is cool. This person's cool. We're good. But if the cat is consistently going to go up and hit that stress level 4 or 5 on every visit, now the cat's going to start that prefrontal, he may start to go off in a different direction that is undesirable. So what I say is, when, you might be thinking about this going, I have told a number of cat sitters in the past, when they report things that are going on, that stop looking for the cat. What? You're not going to look for my cat when you visit? Let me explain. When you have a cat that is hitting stress level 4 or 5, we want to take a break. We want to back way off. We want to tone it way down. So let's talk about this. A cat has about a 16-hour memory. Oh, that's a long time for an animal. 16 hours. Now, your client is asking you for twice-a-day visits and pictures both times. Oh, well, now that 16-hour memory is starting to overlap, and we start building a stress ladder. What I call, there's a training ladder. Well, now we're building that stress ladder, and we're putting stress upon stress upon stress upon stress upon stress. Sound familiar? Like hitting that stress level over and over and over, that we're actually training the cat to react negatively to the cat sitter. Whoa. That's a big way to think about that, isn't it? That we're training the cat to react negatively to our presence, when all we really want to do is care for them. That's where I say, think before you go looking for the cat. Okay? Some cats will be fine. You'll go find the kitty, he's under the bed, you lift up the tree skirt, you look, the kitty's fine. Put a couple treats down, maybe he eats the treats. Oh, good, maybe we can get in some cheeky rubs, and they calm down and they come down, and we're, that's all fine and good. But let's say you go to look under that tree skirt and you put the treats down, treats being one of the number one ways of identifying stress level 4 is they don't take treats. He doesn't take the treats. He's hissing at you. Oh, okay. We're going to leave the treats. He gets the treats anyway. And we're just going to leave the room. We're going to do what we need to do in the house, food, water, litter box. We may, depending on how the cat is reacting, we may decide to sit down and turn on the television set and try to normalize things for them. You go the second day, and the cat's not under the bed, and the treats were not eaten, even after he calmed down. Oh, it's day 2. I'm going to go look for the cat. You find the cat. He's now hissing and growling at you. He's gone from hissing at you to now hissing and growling at you. We are now in stress level 4, potentially going to go up to stress level 5. At this point, I want to say we want to stop looking for the cat, for sure. We may have wanted to stop looking for the cat when we looked under the bed skirt and the treats were still there. And it should have been, oh, he's moved to a secondary hiding location, which most of us, when we do a meet and greet, we ask, where does the cat hide? And we get introduced to 4 or 5 different hiding locations, so we know where to go to look for the cat. We may not want to do that on the second day. We may want to say, you know what, I'm not going to look for Fluffy today. The food is eaten, we're doing fresh water, the litter box looks good. We're going to restage with the environmental calming things that we're going to be doing, and we're going to leave. Some pet owners might be absolutely totally against it. Others may be, oh, okay, what else can we do? We want, we don't want that cat to learn to hate their pet sitter, is basically what it amounts to. So we're going to dial back. We're going to take that step back. So what happens if you have that situation where you are now into the 4th day of the pet sit? You found the cat on the first day, you backed off the second day, or second visit, and then here we are in the 3rd or 4th day, and the cat is just in this wavering mode, and really he's not going to attack you, but he definitely doesn't like that you're there. What you want to be able to do, or what I do, is we go in and we set up the cat cameras. Now, I don't advocate for using the app Alfred. I've never really checked it out, but I do like using our cat cameras by Lorex. And the reason I like those cameras by Lorex is I can then set up those cameras and actually set up my client as well to watch on the cameras. And many times what we see well-meaning pet owners set up their own cameras, and they'll set it up on the food bowl, or they'll set it up on the litter box, or they'll set it up on the cat's favorite resting spots, which is all fine and good. From a cat sitter standpoint, I want a bigger picture. So I want to be able to see what happens when the pet sitter's car arrives, and I want to see what happens when the pet sitter leaves, and I want to see how the cat is reacting everywhere in between, if possible. And with the Lorex cameras, I can do that, and then I can also share those same screens, and the owners can check those screens as well. We can actually attach them individually to the account for the set time of their visits. And from there, then we can start to make decisions. Do we want to continue to stay with the 30-minute visit, or do we actually need to just totally shorten the visit to an essential care visit, which is food, water, litter box, and get in and get out and leave the cat be? They're much more comfortable with nobody around. That's a possibility. A good example for me is I have cameras set up for my cats because my big girl Lucy suffers from separation anxiety. And there are times where on camera, I'll have an abnormal sound notification, and it's her walking around the house meowing very loudly, looking for me. And with the Lorex cameras, I can simply talk to her through the camera and literally watch her go lay down and just relax. I don't think she thinks I'm there, but she knows I'm watching. And cats are really smart. They figure this stuff out. When I first set up my Lorex camera for her, she actually heard my voice and came up to the camera and checked out the camera because she heard me. So she, that did work for her. Won't work for every cat. It just won't. But those are some things that I think you need to think about as you are doing your cat sits, that you want to make sure that you're not contributing to the anxiety of the cat. We never think about the separation anxiety being an underlying factor from the get-go. That, mom and dad are left, we had the luggage out, we had all this commotion getting out of the house, and now I'm here alone. And that can be a low-level stressor and should be a low-level stressor. But if we suddenly we're introducing strangers and this person is hunting me down every time they come in the house, these can all contribute to a very poor experience for the cat. That's it for today. Like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below if you're a professional cat sitter, and let me know what you think. I appreciate all your comments. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next video.